Russia was once a communist superpower, later turned into mixed economy. Long story short, many decades ago in 19th century, while England, Germany, France and rest of the Europe were busy with the developments of industrialization and capitalism, Russia was then lagging far behind. Tsars were ruling Russia since 300 years. Serfdom is prevailing. Though serfs own the land, they don't have any right on the crop. They act as mere laborers in their own fields. With prevailing feudalism and no proper citizen rights and liberty, people suffered a lot and are unhappy. Hundreds of thousands died during famines. The rule of Tsars was quickly becoming outdated. People of Russia started looking at West and their idea of republics, democracies and capitalism. But a few radical class rejected that for a better idea, something they called communism. A person named Vladimir Lenin, who got inspired by the Karl Marx manifesto on communism, where all are equal and workers weren't exploited. He pitched in his voice for communism in Russia, but he was forced to exile and moved to Europe. In Germany, he joined a party called Russian Communists and started radicalizing people in Russia with his newsletters, waiting for an opportunity to overthrow the Tsar rule and bring communist regime in Russia. The then Tsar noticed that people are distressed with the current rule, so he invited companies from other countries to set up their factories in Russia. This has increased employment rate, but nothing changed because of long working hours and heavy taxes that they have levied on the workers. Though modernization began in Russia, the lives of people are still struggling and aren't happy. Strikes erupted across Russia. Liberals demanded political power. Workers' demands increased. Peasants demanded land. Country was out of control. Finally, under the leadership of Lenin, Trotsky and Stalin, the communist utopia gave rise in Russia, where Lenin led the government from 1917 to 1924. On one hand, Lenin was implementing communistic ideas of land redistribution, nationalizing industries, improving workers' rights. On the other hand, he was refusing with other political parties, creating a single party rule. However, he couldn't implement or see a proper communist rule during his tenure because it was a busy time with World War I and Civil War. There happened the declaration of Soviet Union on 30th December 1922 under a strict one-party system by Vladimir Lenin. After the World War II, there was this power struggle of economic and military supremacy between the capitalist and communist countries, which erupted as Cold War and Space Wars. On one hand, USA was deemed to be a thorough capitalist superpower. On the other hand, the USSR as communist superpower. The then Soviet Union, or officially called as USSR, is a union of Russia and 14 other republics. Every republic has a different ethnicity, culture and identity. In 1980s, there started differences among the republics in USSR, as it's experiencing severe distress, lack of free market, unemployment and prevailing corruption. The factors has weakened the Soviet Union internally. Finally, on 25th of December 1991, Soviet Union got dissolved, leaving 14 other countries to be sovereign and independent countries. The so-called communist USSR after dissolution, Boris Yeltsin took charge as president of Russia and imposed a variety of policies that dramatically shifted Russia from communism to capitalism, deregulated the prices of goods, opened up borders and encouraged imports, privatized industries. But this move of large-scale privatization of state-owned assets have doubled the problems and situations worsened in Russia. Hyperinflation, industrial output halved, unemployment doubled. Government then decided to offer public vouchers to buy shares in those state-owned companies that have control over oil and gas, mining, media, banks and so on. But they were mostly snatched by a relatively small group of wealthy Russians, which gave rise to oligarchy. Oligarchy literally means the rule of few. Oligarchs are those who accumulated massive wealth in Russia during the 1990s. They claim to have direct influence on highest levels of politics. Corruption and organized crime prevailed during Yeltsin's tenure. In 1998, government failed to repay its loans. Russia needed a strong government. And on 31st December 1999, Yeltsin resigned and gave his position to Mr. Vladimir Putin. Mr. Putin showed up a new style of policies. He pushed liberal policies towards free market capitalism, lowered business taxes, introduced flat rate income tax, increased cash and gold reserves, and reduced regulation. But Putin's free market isn't truly free, a hybrid approach that combined USSR's principle of state-owned corporations and Yeltsin's oligarchy. Putin pushed out those old oligarchs during Yeltsin's rule and introduced a new generation of oligarchs who are his own inner circle officials who helped Putin to rise to power. Putin literally bargained with these oligarchs to retain their wealth as long as they supported Putin to have increasingly authoritarian grip over Russian government. This bargain is popularly called as Grand Bargain. Today, 55% of Russia's economy is owned by state-owned corporations, in turn controlled by these oligarchs. Putin's capitalism largely benefited Russian people, but it worked out very well for a handful of business oligarchs. This is how Russia, which is a communist party, is now termed as federal, semi-presidential, republic, multi-party, representative and democratic country.